You are live.
Hey everyone, it is Friday night. It is late on the East Coast, 8-ish on the West Coast. My name is Steve Boykinen. I'm in the Santa Cruz Mountains and I am joined by my better than your co-host Glory Jones. This is our Friday call-in show. Get your shit together.
Your shit together.
We've seen some shit and we've done some shit and we've been through some shit. So if you've got some shit, maybe we can help you out with your shit. That's how it goes. The phone lines are gonna open up in about 20 minutes. And before we start, this is something that I'm kind of again, episode 3 of this, we're like new, we're trying some shit out. And kind of want to see if maybe if we like go over a sort of slept on news story, it may set the tone for the phone calls for the evening. Maybe not, you never know, dude. But we're gonna give it a shot and see what happens. There was a Twitter account that sent me a message today. And let me give a shout to that dude. Where'd it go? The Ronin Felon. And it was like, hey man, I don't know if you saw this. It's probably worth talking. Maybe you covered it, maybe you didn't. And when I clicked on it and I looked at the date on the article and I saw that it was published on April 11th, 2019, I was like, yeah, no, I was busy that day. I was
Very. That was an eventful day, and not in a good way.
So apparently, on April 19th or April 11th, 2019, like as or immediately after Julian Assange was trafficked out of the Ecuadorian embassy, this article comes out, and now it does a lot of like shitting on conspiracy and a little bit of like shade to WikiLeaks and certainly a bunch to the QAnon nonsense. But this artist set out to go debunk the conspiracy theory that there was a secret CIA landing strip in Arkansas when, during the time that Bill Clinton was governor of the state, and that landing strip was used to bring in and then help distribute large amounts of cocaine. So the artist dude found Thomas Pynchon's book, The Secret History of the Clintons and the CIA Exposed, and he thought that it was just too fucking bad to be full of shit. He was like, no, hang on. So this is where the rubber meets the road. They did a bunch of research and identified some sites from hand-drawn maps in the books and by talking to eyewitnesses. One which they found about 10 miles from a paved road, fenced off with barbed wire in the middle of the forest. They break in, they climb around. Long, low slung, clearly been planned area of grass, the outside of which is strewn with electrical wiring and transformers and abandoned equipment. And right next to the runway, there's a 10-foot tall mountain pole for a windsock, just sitting there in a fenced off meadow 10 miles away from the road in the national forest. There's no explanation other than the stuff happened. Has anyone offered an account that explains why this is here? Like, it used to be an airport for this other thing that isn't actually a CIA cocaine trafficking landing strip. He says, well, here it gets even weirder. Wouldn't it be nice to ask the person who theoretically owns the land? Because it's really strange that this one little patch of land is owned by somebody, even though it's surrounded by national forest. That person, a woman whose name is on the deed, has a last name that corresponds to the person who was supposedly in charge of the camp during the 80s. It's like the same name with one letter changed. And her husband's first name also corresponds with the name of that camp staff person. He, under the most inexplicable of circumstances, was murdered in the year 2000. As the story goes, his neighbor borrows money from some horse race jockeys, and somehow there's a crossfire and he gets a bullet in the back of the head in a church parking lot. 5 arrests are made, 5 charges are dropped. No more story. And no, that's here. Let's I want to see what your immediate reaction to this so far is, Jones.
Just why? Like, why can't we just investigate it instead of only creating more mayhem by trying to bury it? But yeah.
I mean, I'll have to come back to, because the dude took pictures, obviously, you know, but like
there's just already so much. That's the thing.
There we go. Out in the middle of the Arkansas woods.
That's very sus. Yeah, that's sus.
Totally normal.
I think I said this on an episode of Anonymous Bites Back, but there's like a random small like remnants of a tiny plane crash about like half mile to a mile from my house here in South Florida. That's like it's like the Everglades area, so it's like, you know, it's like this little almost like nature trail looking deal. Then I walk on it, and after a while I stumble onto what looks like a really old like small plane crash. I'm like, what the fuck is this? That's honestly what I thought of, because it was like a landing strip, like a little secret landing strip that nobody talks about. So I don't know, just
backup CIA base.
Why not?
Right.
Why not put it past it?
Cut back on a little bit of interstate traffic. I do know that there was a couple of Florida like Air America stations and shit like that. That was the heroin smuggling operation that the CIA.
I have to go back while I'm home and take more pictures of it and get a better look at this, and like almost get like a screenshot of the coordinates, because it's intriguing. It could just be a random plane crash, but at the same time, it's intriguing.
That's trippy. That is. I mean, there's a multiple decade history of the CIA flying in different really bad drugs, and there's no explosion of fucking cartel meth in the US without the full aid and assistance of multiple US 3-letter agencies, not the least of which being the DEA and the FBI. But the CIA certainly plays a part in that. Let's, look no further than Pablo, El Patron, Pablo Escobar, El Jefe. Yeah, man. The fucking dude, serious. I'd like CIA asset. The whole Medellin cartel. Colombia as a narco state.
I mean, the fact that like Pablo Escobar was almost like like a pop culture figure.
Ooh.
What?
I mean,
Oh boy.
keep talking.
Well, because I was just saying, because like growing up when I was in like middle school and more so high school, I think, but like between middle school and high school specifically, it was like this really big thing. Oh, Steve.
I'm good. This fucking tiny in here. Whatever.
There was like this thing where like the whole like the fascination with
You all right there,
Pablo
buddy?
Escobar was like a pop culture phenomenon. Yeah. Like exactly like that. Yeah. De Medellin, Colombia. Yeah.
We do it live. But that came out of like that came off of like a fucking little t-shirt cart in Colombia.
Oh, you went to Colombia?
I did not.
Oh.
I did not.
Ali just texted in the Element chat. It's like Steve.
It's a very small studio. There is shit like absolutely everywhere. And I have a very large desk that has a lot of shit on it. And my knuckle hit it and it made shit jump. I mean, it could be worse.
How?
The whole ass camera could have just I could have been out a couple $100 and and you still would have heard me cussing and yeah. There are multiple ways that could have gone hella more sideways.
I know. I just wanted you to entertain me. Oh, is that a call
Someone's
noise?
trying to call.
Yeah.
Should I answer it?
Fuck it. All right, fine. Yeah, we'll start early.
You're live.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, who's this?
Hello? Oh,
Hey, can you hear
this
us?
is Uncle Warren from War Deer Entertainment, where we provide
Hey.
all your entertainment needs. We got editing, we got fishing hooks. You can find us down on Highway 6 by the guy in the truck who sells peaches.
Aw,
Hey, Glory,
I
how
love
you
those
doing,
guys
girl? I
that
didn't
sell
see you on
peaches.
last week's show.
You one more time?
I sound better this week, do I not?
You do now, yeah.
You know what happened? I had to get one of your 2021 cell phones that runs on electricity because you know that my phone, I'm from the, Glory, you don't know this, but I'm actually Steve from the future. And I brought back a telephone with me last week to call into your national broadcast and radio show. And it was a shit phone because it runs on happiness. And see, when you bring it back in time to 2021, the shit don't work because there ain't no happiness in goddamn 2021. Can I get an amen?
I feel
from
like
the
there's
choir?
plenty of happiness in 2021. Future
Don't
me.
say that so aggressively, Steve. It doesn't help your point at all. You gotta be like, oh, there's so much
Look, I'm gonna
happiness. Yay.
I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. The only happiness I got is right here in this little glass bowl right now. I'm about to fire up. You know what I'm saying? Happy weekend from the country. Steve's like,
Well,
Wow,
you
my
know,
voice
War Deer,
changes in the future.
War Deer Entertainment, I am happy for you.
I'm just saying, Steve's going like, you are not me from the future, motherfucker. I do not sound like some old redneck, and I am not selling shit by some guy selling peaches.
Ah, you know what?
I
He's
mean, that's
close.
really not out of the Well,
He's
that's
close.
really not that far out of the
He's
box.
closer than you think.
It's really not.
Hey, some of us have goals of selling shit by guys who sell peaches, okay? So don't knock that world, okay? Some of us
Hey,
live
I
in
love those guys who
you
sell
know?
peaches and oranges.
I'm going to tell you something about the South right now. The best produce you're going to ever buy is by the ones with the most fucked up signs that you've ever seen. Ain't nobody spelling peaches right. It's like peaches. Like it's got P in it or something. Ain't nobody wants to buy no peaches. Anyway, I felt
If
like
it's
last
not
week I
written
kinda
in crayon,
overrode this.
I'm not slowing down.
Beautiful.
That's
Listen,
my
I wanna
baseline.
That's facts.
I want to apologize for last week because I got off topic. I want to get my shit together tonight, and you guys are going to help me out, okay?
Okay.
Yes. And you're wondering how. It's okay. I'm going to guide you through this magic DMT journey that we're about to take. No, I used to work in, there's a lot of shit going on with the news, how nobody trusts the news, any kind of media right now. And it kind of touches me a little bit personally because back in the 90s, I worked in television and radio, mostly in North Mississippi. And I worked with some really old school journalists. You know what I mean? We're talking about pre-Telecommunications Act 1996 people. You know what I mean? Like your Walter Cronkite folks. Who, what, where, when, why, how. That's journalism. You know what I mean? And, I was in it for about 10 years and I got out of it. When I moved to LA, I said, fuck it, I'm just going to do entertainment. I don't want to do this news shit anymore. And, you're starting to see that on the local level now too, with all these Clear Channel stations just buying up all these local TV stations. They had this video on YouTube, and they were showing this one particular news story that 40 or 50 different TV stations were all running the same thing, the same script. It was just like a stenographer. So I just want to say, as a former journalist, what I see today is just atrocious. It's just horrible. But when I see shows like, Slow News Day or Combo Couch, any of the indies out there that are doing it for the grit, that are doing it for the grind, to get the knowledge out. And and there ain't no hefty payday. You ain't making that 30 grand a day like Rachel Maddow is, you know what I mean?
No,
And I just want to say I appreciate y'all's efforts. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you, man.
Thank you.
And there really isn't a lot of straight reporting anymore. In general, the closest that we see routinely really is Robbie. And to an extent, Corey Morningstar does a really good job of doing that. Whitney does a fantastic job of showing you the whole puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of who, what, when, where, and how involved in that, but it's more it's a much bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. And when Corey goes out and writes her 7-volume book articles, then she does a great job of that too.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it's just so fucking out of the scope of what news is supposed to be. And this is, I mean, there was, obviously, I mean, the church committee showed us that there was heavy intelligence community involvement in the news, but at the same time there was a fuck ton of underground press and vibrant community of not co-opted or not 1 degree away from the mainstream outlets. And then there were the Mother Joneses and the shit like that existed just off the periphery of the mainstream, is kind of more of a limited hangout. But there was great fucking, great underground media, and it's still here. But because of the way that algorithmic censorship and siloing and all that works, we're fucking scattered. That's one of the reasons why I appreciate the hell out of Sam Tripoli and Charlie Robinson, Ricky Varandas for doing the Union of the Unwanteds, because that's people who really aren't necessarily like in the same universes, but all sort of have the same core beliefs about what media should be and should do.
Yeah, and and what's great is you're seeing more and more of these indies coming out of the woodwork, and it's wonderful to see. We need more voices. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Delay plus a slight stoner buzz on some what is called grape diesel. I'm not quite sure of the terminology. I just smoke it and all of a sudden, my knee stops hurting. So anyway,
this is either Skywalker or napalm.
You know what? I'm like, I always tell my guy, I say, look, will this shit get me high? And he says, well, of course. And I say, I salute him for the service that he provided. And then I go home and smoke my brains out. But one more thing I just want to leave you guys with. When I was a kid, I grew up with around the time of Frank Reynolds on ABC News. We lived on the coast, and all we could get was ABC. So my dad, he was just religious. He would watch the 5 o'clock local. He'd watch the 5:30 national. He'd watch the 6 o'clock local. All right. And that's where I kind of got into the news thing. I watched news with him. And looking back on those days, it was so commentary and opinions are just rife. Today, you just can't even disseminate it from the truth. But back then, you couldn't do that shit. You couldn't just put out your opinion. You can't say, I think, well, I believe. It's like, if you got facts, you use the facts. If you don't have facts, you don't do it. And the only time they did commentaries on these local shows was towards the end of the show, like the general manager of the TV station or the owner of the TV station would come on, and he would express his opinion about some local issue that was going on. And at the bottom of the screen, you saw the chyron down there that said, big fat letters, commentary, so you knew back then the difference between commentary and news. And now, boy, good luck with that.
Yeah, and I know. I vaguely recall the final minute or whatever they would do after the occasional broadcast or then regular broadcast for a little bit, and then the Iraq War, the first Iraq War happened. And so did CNN. And it was shortly, not too far long after the repeal of the Fairness Doctrine. And then just a few years before the Telecom Act and the giant merger of the broadcast companies into then 6, now 5. Pre-Patriot, Patriot Act happened, the Smith Modernization Act happened in 2012, part of the NDAA, legalizing propaganda, had the giant influx of former national security directors coming on as experts and paid contributors, and the narrative management that comes along with that. And I'm not trying to say that there wasn't massive amounts of propaganda in the 80s. There was. It permeated the fucking culture. That shit still resonates with a lot of people. You don't even have to look any further than fucking Russiagate. It wasn't 24 hours a day like it is right now. And that's why independent media has to fucking battle against the rewriting of real time. It's fucking nuts.
It wasn't trying to go at alternate thought in general.
Well, it started with CNN too, because CNN was the first 24-hour cycle news thing. And what are you going to fill 24 hours with? right? I mean, I remember those days. It was just like it was almost like headline news. They would just keep repeating and repeating and repeating, but finally, uh, they started sticking. Oh, we have this representative. He's a former CIA spokesperson. He's very knowledgeable about this subject. Let's get him in here. And then that whole ball started rolling. Along with everything, like you said, the Telecom Act. Basically basically going from 20 something companies to 5 companies owning all of the media in the company. I mean, in the country. So
Do you remember the
Freudian slip.
McLaughlin Group?
Which one?
The McLaughlin Group. It was a thing on like PBS back in the day. Saturday Night Live used to roast
Oh
it.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
essentially the format for every CNN and news media debate show going forward. They would take a mainstream liberal and a mainstream conservative, and then like a hyper right-wing liberal and a hyper right-wing conservative, and they would pit them against each other. And that's every fucking panel show ever now because of that. But the way that the narrative management works, like, it's increasingly over the years become more and more and more narrowly defined allowable parameters of conversation, and they've all trotted further and further and further into authoritarian fascism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And with every, when before, like I said, before '93, when I just got into TV, you didn't have the internet, so you couldn't look up information to verify whether what was on the news was true or not. And so you were in that area where you were kind of in that Venn diagram where you were coming from that old school era and you were going into the new era of the CNN era, the 24-hour era, but you didn't have that kind of that informational gatekeeper in the middle. You couldn't fact check that well because you didn't have the internet to help you. So you had to go by other sources that you trusted, and maybe if they were even covering it. So, today, now you can just like go Google the hell out of it or DuckDuckGo, whatever your preference is, and get on there and just look up everything. It's like, and call somebody out on Twitter and like, look, bitch, you said this, but you remember this? Click, click, click. Here's a link. I got receipts. We didn't have receipts in the 80s. Now everybody's got receipts.
Yeah, but Alice in the Rockfin chat brings up a good point too, that even in the 90s the news still relied on primary sources and would show you the primary sources. And
Whatever
now
happened
it's
to primary
anonymous
sources?
sources, or sources familiar with the story, say. Sometimes they're close to the story, these sources that you can never learn the identity of, but sometimes they're merely familiar with the story. And if a source is merely familiar with the story, you should believe that source as much as you would Rush Limbaugh selling rehab centers.
Anonymous intelligence sources.
Like, I mean, there's a couple of anonymous intelligence sources that I would trust.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to move your chair out the way to emphasize the point, Steve.
I can't. It's a small room.
That's
Well,
why
I
I'm
just
showing
always-
the mask. Don't worry.
I've been saying I used to be on Facebook a lot and do all my political rants and stuff on there, and I always tell, and I knew it was falling on a lot of deaf ears, but I didn't care. It's just I get to practice writing. Fuck it, right? So I would get on there. I said, look, if you're going to go for informational sources for your news, use multiple sources and check them out. Who owns that source? Follow the money. A lot of people don't have the time to do that. They bust their ass at these jobs. They just want to come home, crack open a beer, have time with the family. I don't want to sit there and be fucking Nancy Drew looking for shit on the internet, when they're supposed to be trusting the media already. But you can't trust the media because it has been proven time and time again, it definitely within the last 20 years that, and with the advent of social media, how well they can lie, how well they can push the propaganda, and how well they can make you believe it. So I always say, don't trust one source, and God damn it, don't watch MSNBC, don't watch CNN, don't watch Fox, don't watch none of that corporate shit, because all you're going to get is corporate news. Slow news day equals numero uno, motherfuckers. And I love cursing on the internet.
So do we.
It's true. It's true.
All right, I'll let you go, but I appreciate y'all listening to me. I told you I was going to behave myself, Steve, and I did.
I'm very proud of you.
A little bit.
A little disappointed,
You know
but
what?
mostly proud.
Well, I mean, I ain't got to this good skunk yet. I'm just trying. Well, I'm just doing the entree right now. I'm about to get to the main course. This volcano's about to go KBOOM. You know what I mean? Woo!
Okay.
And remember,
Hilarious.
I love all of y'all. I appreciate you.
Hey, you have a fantastic night, my friend.
All right, I'm always watching y'all, brother. I'll see y'all later. All right.
You take care.
All right, bye.
Death right, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. 657-298-4767.
I already put the number up, Glory.
7 is the number. Let her
Oh my
play.
God.
Let her play.
Y'all know when you're waiting for like movies to play and then the DVD logo will bounce around and you'll just watch it for like 20 minutes while waiting for your movie? Don't act like this doesn't remind you of that.
That's fucking hysterical. Our
in the corner, so may as well just put it there.
Our good friend
Put that in
Commander
my
X
background.
resurfaced today, and that's exciting.
Yes.
Another
we're
call.
getting a call.
You were
Hi, I'm
live.
calling Mona. Yeah, I'm here.
Is that Mona?
Okay.
Why are you trolling me?
Hello? I recognize that giggle.
God damn it. Okay.
You
Hi,
did give it
am I-
away right
am I
away,
on air?
Mona.
For real, you did.
Am I on there?
What's up,
Well,
Mona?
because did Seb say Mona? Seb said Mona.
Oh,
Oh,
Sebs
okay.
is there too.
My
Hey,
bad.
Sebs.
Hi, Sebs.
Okay. Well, hi guys. Okay. This is.
So what would you like on
Am
your
I
pizza?
on air? Did you say I'm on air?
You are live and on the air.
Oh my God, I'm getting nervous. I'm having stage fright.
I watched your thing with Ricky though the other day.
What? The connection's bad.
When-
Can you guys hear me? 'Cause
when,
I got one bar in here.
When you, Mandy, and Allie were on Ricky's show talking about the Fourth Industrial Revolution, that was dope. I mean, it was creepy, but cool at the same time.
Yeah. I'd rather not talk about that, Glory. But it's okay. All right, I'm gonna ask my question. This is for Steve. Steve,
Mhm.
are you there? Are you listening? Are you
I
listening?
am.
Okay. So, Josh, you can answer too if you want. Would you rather have, if you are under 18, please turn the volume down for a second, just like for 1 second, okay? Would you rather
Kids, I'm going to need you to put
have
your hands over your ears too, just in case.
earmuffs? Okay. So, inquiring minds want to know. This is not my question. I'm just putting it out. People have been asking me, and I'm like, I don't know what Steve would want to do. Okay, so Steve, Would you rather
The people were wondering.
the people? These are the kind of questions that the people want to know. They want your insight on it. Okay. So, would you rather have a ginormous penis that didn't fit in most vaginas, okay, or have a micro penis, like tiny little, baby micro penis?
What the fuck? Seriously, Mona?
It's not my question. That I was.
I mean,
Have a nice angry
Oh,
show
he's
if you had a
gonna-
micro peen.
He's gonna say some dumb head ass shit like, "Oh, well, I'm already close to the first one
no,
as it is."
no, I'm not trying to say that. I'm not. And it's not like I wouldn't expect like immediate pushback on that. Were I to try to be like, yeah, it's like fucking 6.5 fucking feet across and shit. I can barely get it through a door. No, dude, no. Traditionally, some of history's biggest monsters have had micro penises. So, for the sake of humanity, for the potential sparing of entire like an entire generation's worth of people, I would opt out of the micro penis for humanitarian purposes.
That's some real head ass framing right there.
I mean, it's pretty goddamn funny, though.
Okay.
That's
So-
as serious as I'm willing to entertain that, though. I'm just so we're clear. Like that's.
I told everyone you wouldn't want to answer. They made me call. On a side note, Glory, I just want to say I bought my daughter this extra Barbie doll the other day, and they have like really cool hair and like cool clothes, and you totally look like an extra Barbie doll right now. You're looking so cute. I love it. That's all I gotta say. Talk to you guys later.
Okay.
Did Josh answer? Josh, what was your answer?
Yeah, I ain't touching that one with a 10-foot pole.
All right, tell me later. Okay, bye guys.
Love you, Mona.
All right, man.
I've never seen a Barbie that looks like me, but okay.
Well, that was interesting.
All right, we got one coming in.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
All right, you are live.
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, this is Tariq. I'm calling from New Orleans. I'm a Julian Science supporter.
Nice.
I for the past 2 years I've been calling into radio, this radio show in DC called Fault Lines Radio, and also
Yeah.
the backstory.
Oh,
With Lee Stranahan and John Karaoke. The Fault Lines Radio is with Thomas, which I know Jamal Thomas, and Shane Strahan.
Mhm.
And I call in the show every chance I get to say Free Julian Science. If I come up with anything, sometimes I watch y'all. I share the information with them from y'all, from the Convo Contra, Nico House, and the other people like I can't even think, Max Bloomberg, the whole gamut of people, Jimmy Dore, and also I listen to people from different places, the Duran and the LaRouche. I'm telling you, from everybody. And I know right now we're in a dangerous part right now dealing with Israel and Palestine. You have those the Palestinians being kicked out their homes, and the third holiest mosque in the world for Muslims is what the Israelis doing to the IDF was doing to the Palestinians, man, that's not right. So I've been calling in and I discuss different things. It seems like China, of all places, all countries stepping up to the plate. They want to have Security Council meeting to discuss on de-escalation, dealing with the saga what's going on in Gaza. We've got over 110 people now. I think 115 that been killed, murdered. They want to escalate that, and they want to put a proposal out there dealing with a two-state solution. The U.S. I don't think the U.S. ever talked about a two-state solution. Joe Biden's administration, they're not really doing anything to address what's going on, but basically saying that Israel have the right to defend itself. Well, all nations have a right to defend itself, you know? That's not the point. The point is that you have people being thrown in the ghetto and treated like less than human beings, and they need, rights like everybody else. I'm trying to think, because I have so much. I mean, I called it the Duran show today. I talked to Mercurius from the Duran and Christopher.
Yeah.
And I was talking about, it's amazing how people point the finger at China and accuse them of slaughtering and putting Uyghurs, Muslim Chinese, into prison. And, they point the finger at them and they can't come up with no evidence of them throwing them in concentration camps, and I'm glad that Chinese spokeswoman came out, Hu Chengling came out saying that, how can, the Biden administration point a finger at us and you got someone that's in prison named Julian Assange.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's good because Julian Assange need all the support he can get. And like I said some weeks ago, not on your show, but on another show, that Julian Assange is so much a key player. All right, I'm going to let y'all know, I'm 44 years old.
Okay.
And the more I learn about
You're a year older than me, man.
Yeah, well, hey, been blessed to live this long. I want to live longer, too.
Me too. I'm in the bonus round myself a couple times over.
Yes, man. Yes. I mean, you know what? You never know how things will turn out until you go out there and try and do your best. It's like, okay, I thought it was hope. I thought hope was leaving out for Julian Assange and me because I'm a whistleblower, right? And when Trump didn't pardon Julian Assange, I was so hurt. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say until I woke up the next day. I said, you know what? All this destiny stuff people talking about, you can create your own destiny. And I'm a follower of Sadhguru. I still eat meat, of course. But I listen to Sadhguru. He said you create your own destiny, man. And you move forward. And sometimes you have to go out there on that ledge. I'm not talking about like going on a ledge and drop, but I'm saying you have to go out there, like the preachers used to say, that the leap of faith. Basically, you're going out to a wilderness where never been explored before, and you're the only one doing it. It's like you have no help. You're by yourself, and you're doing it by yourself. But what you have to do is go inside yourself, and you pull up that spark what the Creator gave you, and you use it to your imagination to come with new solutions to deal with the problems at hand. Who would have knew that by us constantly fighting for Julian Assange, that it would shed lights on others, such as the MOVE organization, where bomb was dropped on them 36 years ago. Yeah. Now they're getting press now. Thank God. What happened was going on in Palestine, what's going on in Yemen. You have people stepping up into the vacuum, stepping up now, being courageous. You all and everybody else, because you have a man in prison right now that need our help, and because of that void, we are filling it. You know, Julian Assange is a key player on a chessboard. I'm gonna just use the analogy of a chess. He's so important that MI6, CIA, the military industrial complex, Mossad, IDF, the Five Eyes is afraid of this man. I'm talking about afraid of this man because they know that he don't care. He going to publish information. The whistleblowers that's inside these governments will publish the information to him, and he will release it. He will vet it to make sure ain't no lies coming his way, and once he vet it, he gonna release it. That's why they got him in prison, okay? And that's why you have Netanyahu, Netanyahu is losing his mind. Yeah, Netanyahu is losing his mind because he's going all out against the Palestinians. If Julian Assange was out, they probably had an IDF soldier or Mossad agent probably leak some information to him to prevent this from happening, right? That's how important Julian Assange is. Now you got other seriousness going on in Syria, Ukraine, dealing with the Donbass region. Then I'm hearing something about the Kosovo region again, and the Balkans is starting to mount up now. Crazy stuff starting going on out there. Then you got the Taiwan Strait with China. I mean, you got all this stuff starting to flare up, right? These flashpoints. Like Daniel Ellsberg said 2 days ago, we need whistleblowers to start blowing a whistle again so we can counteract what's going on. Because if we don't, then half of us can wind up dying on this planet from a third nuclear war. So that's how serious it is. I'm going to keep on fighting for this man, Julian Assange. Okay? We got to keep on fighting for him and other whistleblowers. Even though I'm a whistleblower, I got to the point where I was always talking about my case, but I had a idea pop in my head. I said, you know what? I'm going to do my best to focus on Julian Assange and other whistleblowers because, you know, the tide lifts all boats. You never know what can happen. By us helping Julian Assange, we might help somebody 10,000 miles away in Papua New Guinea. They got this struggle going on, West Papua New Guinea, how the Indonesian government treating them. You know, so by us keep on fighting, people can see your movement and they can get ideas from you. And they can start their own little thing on YouTube or Rumble or whatever or platforms, and they can have meetings like this. And this is how it started. You know, when the United States beat the British Empire, when it started in 1776, it was only I think the historians say it was only 1% to 2% of the population actually fought the British Empire and won. When Castro took over in Cuba, they only started, I think, with only 20 people. All right? And he was a lawyer, a pitcher, that one of the baseball teams in the United States didn't want him. So he became, a leader down there and started with like under 20 people. So don't never think just because you might have 6 to 8 people watching right now that you're not reaching people. You're reaching people. You are reaching them. If Alex Jones can do it when he was in Austin on that public broadcast channel back in the 90s, and he built this thing up, then you had Jimmy Dore did the same thing. You had other people, right, left, whatever. Then it's a possibility for all of us because what's happening right now, people is looking for truth. Okay, people on the right, people on the left, Muslim, Christian, Jews, they're looking for truth. They're trying to find out what's going on. So never give up, man. You got to keep on moving forward. People are questioning a whole bunch of things right now. You still got this BS still going on out here. about trying to keep the troops in Syria and Afghanistan, and you got all this
Mm-hmm.
propaganda that's going on right now. And I mean, who would have thought? I mean, I couldn't believe it. 2 weeks ago, I brought up the move movement, and when I couldn't believe how Joe Biden, he was right to do it, but at the same time, coming from, you know, the United States. I mean, I love my country. We got a lot of wrongs, but when he criticized Erdogan, right, the Turkish government for the Armenian genocide, which was under the Ottoman Empire, I say, okay, it's a good thing that they did it, they recognize it, the Armenian genocide, but Erdogan turned around and said, how can you criticize us? And he threw up, look what you did to the Native Americans. And he was right. So it's weird. It's like two corrupt governments calling each other, you know, devils.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say the word devil, but criminals, right?
Hey, look, both are applicable as far as I'm concerned. And I always try to make this point about the whataboutisms is that they only work when both sides know going in that they're indefensible. Whataboutism doesn't stick if you're trying to throw it at somebody who isn't a war criminal or who isn't locking up journalists and publishers. It's I mean, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's one of those things where like both parties have to be terrible in order for the accusations to even really land the same.
Yes, but it was a good thing that it came up like this because it opened up two doors. Because the Erdogan with his corrupt administration, look what they're doing to the Kurds, and look how they plan. Look how they're trying to separate parts of northern Syria away from the Syrians, which is their territory. You know, look what he's doing. Look how he's using the migrants as a bargaining chip against Germany, against the rest of the EU. You know, he's not good either. And look what the U.S. doing with the current administration and the so-called deep state. How they playing Venezuela, saying, "Oh, I mean, I'm not a socialist. I'm in the middle. Okay, I have a lot of political discipline."
You don't need a label. You don't need a label.
Yeah, but look what they're doing in Venezuela. That's not cool. Oh, look, socialism don't work. Of course it don't work because you got sanctions on them, right? You got people. The currency. I was watching this guy named Drew Bruschi. He got a YouTube channel. He's on what you call that on Facebook. And he was talking about the Venezuelan currency and how it's hyperinflating, just like the Mozambique currency. No, excuse me, the Zimbabwe currency, and how people is making like $1 a month. A month. I couldn't believe. Usually people in third world countries they make like $1 a day. Luckily, like $30 a month. But $1 a month because of sanctions, and the people in Venezuela is suffering, but they don't have. I mean, they don't have it as bad as those in Yemen. They really suffering, and then we got another crisis that might explode that might go out of control in Ethiopia. You got the ethnic conflict going on over there with the Eritreans and the Ethiopia. I mean, the Koreans. The Tigrayans. And the Habesha people. Right?
Are you familiar with our good friend Tedros Fikra Miriam? Guillaume Journal? If you go to Teodros, Teodrose.
Fikra Mario.
Can you put him in the
Fikre?
I'm listening.
But he is Ethiopian. He was actually like like related to some sort of royalty, but he writes extensively about what's going on there. He's a fantastic resource for I mean, like first person knowledge of what's going on in Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm following him. I think I know you're talking about. He kind of heavy set like.
Yeah, a little bit, sure.
Yeah, he been on Fault Lines Radio before, right?
Absolutely,
Backstory, right?
yeah, and he's frequently on
Yeah.
with Garland Nixon and Dr.
Yeah.
Wilmer Leon.
Oh yeah. I think I'm friends with him on Facebook. To be honest
Okay.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the editor in chief of the Guillaume Journal and GuillaumeJournal.com. And I just the other day, I believe, if not today, published an article about that.
Or dealing with the conflict in Ethiopia. It's amazing,
Yes, sir.
right? What you got this conflict in Ethiopia. I wonder what it is about. You know what I'm saying? Oh, China, they there and they building up roads and high-speed trains. They want to put ports. Of course, we all know the Western, certain Western governments don't like China going into Africa. And actually building manufacturing jobs and trains and giving them something for the resources, or instead of just giving them a loan that would get them in debt. China's actually working with the African nations, which is a good thing, So it's worried that Ethiopia was improving, but all of a sudden you got this ethnic tension starting to go out of control, not just in the northern part of Ethiopia, in the southern part too. We got another problem going on in the south of Ethiopia with around the Omo Valley. And and I mean, I appreciate. I really appreciate y'all what y'all doing, and continue doing what you're doing. I mean, I got some other stuff floating in my head I want to say, but I know I don't want to take up too much time. But yeah, continue doing what y'all doing. And I mean, do y'all do this every Friday? Calling?
We're gonna be doing this every Friday, man. Feel free to call back in. Hell yeah, I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad you're calling in. I believe I've heard you on Fault Lines before. Now that you mention it, when Garland and Lee were hosts of that show, I wasn't doing all of this full time, and I was actually able to listen to shows as something that I would do for both like information and recreation. And I haven't through the last couple, like 2.5 years, it's just gone away. Was able to go on Fault Lines once, and Glory's been on a number of times now.
Yeah, I remember her.
But you went in studio. I've just done it like wake up at 5 a.m. and go on for.
And it was
15
Garland and Kiriakou because Stranahan was just getting out of rehab. And that didn't last long. But I had already had a relationship with John because he'd been on my show a handful of times, been on the Vigil, and I was comfortable with him. And Garland and I got along immediately and quite well. And he and I talk to this day. I talked to him just the other day, and he's wonderful, man. I fucking nothing but love for that guy.
Yeah, he normally holds his own little thing on Facebook. I hope he can start doing call-ins like y'all. I'm glad the Rand started it 4 weeks ago, like the last month. They started doing call-ins. When I saw that, I had to hurry up and jump in. They got this other program I listen to called Road News Media, Road News, and I like them. They're not left like y'all. They like center right to right. They're like libertarians, conservatives. But they would sit down and talk to people that's on the left, But they'll
I
let
don't
you know,
even know
look,
what I am anymore,
know.
brother. I want to be able to fish off of my deck. That's what I know.
Fish off your dick. That's what I'm talking about, man.
I mean,
Yeah, I try to just, man. It's good that y'all doing what y'all doing. It's, man, it's like, I can't believe, I'm like, when I saw that number, I'm like, I gotta call in. You know
Hell
what I'm saying?
yeah.
I gotta call in.
Yes.
You know, I say, don't give me that option. I'm like, I call
We're
in.
giving
I
everybody
like,
that
in front of
option.
people.
We're giving everybody that option every Friday from 8 p.m. on the West Coast to whenever the hell we feel like stopping. As long as people are calling in, we're doing this shit, man. Thank you for like giving us a reason to, keep it going. We appreciate the hell out of it.
Man, like I look, you never know who's watching on the real. You never know. Oh, I want to ask you something. The latest thing with Julian Assange's trial. Do y'all understand? Did y'all hear anything else? Because last time I heard was when it was Friday. From Mercure say something about the top judges in Britain was leaning towards not seeing the appeal or something, which is a good thing. But you never know; they might still see it. Did y'all know anything else on that? Any updates on his trial or the appeal or what?
I'm not as much. So here's the thing. The U.S. can file meritless appeal after meritless appeal. Like they don't just get the one time. So if they didn't put all of their appeal eggs into that one basket, not that they had that many, but there were a handful of different avenues of attack that they could use to go after Bereitzer's decision. But in the meantime, if the magistrate panel denies this appeal, it does give Julian's legal team the opportunity to then attack Bereitzer's decision in the affirmative for the U.S. Department of Justice. The upshot to that is that there won't be at least a semblance of precedent for the massive, grotesque violations of press freedom, the death of investigative journalism, the international jurisdiction over the press on the behalf of the United States, the criminalization of merely like obtaining, let alone publishing classification or hitting share on a social media feed of a classified document. The criminalization of that under the Espionage Act still on the table right now. So there's definitely value in going after it. And there is so much that can be picked apart about the way that she affirmed the prosecution's case in terms of all of those aspects. The downside to all of it is Julian is in Belmarsh prison, locked down 23 and a half hours a day, and needs to get the hell out of there.
Yeah. And they're just trying to drag it out, so.
Yeah, I concur with that. He needs to get out of there. I just hope those judges don't see the appeal, and hopefully his, like you say, Julian Assange team can attack the decision by Judge Barrister when she came down there. I mean, she could have, man, just a terrible judge. Like, she just want to keep him in prison. And I'm glad that people is starting to speak out about this. The Chinese government, well, Hu Chunying spoke out about it. Foreign minister spokesman for China. And that guy from last year, Abhijit John Dai, spoke out about what was going on with Julian Assange.
Well, and this is this needs to be like perfectly clear that President Aliyev of Azerbaijan is a like murderous piece of shit dictator.
Yes.
And a head chopper in his own right. And
And Julian exposed him as such.
He's the subject of WikiLeaks drops. So for him to say that, to box that BBC reporter into the corner like that, it not only is it an absolute indictment of the complete failure of the West to live up to its advertising, but it's also showing the rest of the world's murderous pieces of shit dictators that they can just point to this at any point because the US has no high ground here. The West has no high ground here. He was absolutely right. And now this gives everyone an excuse to go after their journalists and their publishers. And like, that's, you know, in terms of signals to send despots, you couldn't be doing it worse than what the US and the UK is doing right now with Julian Assange.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. That's terrible. That's why, you know, U.S. really don't have that much pull right now in the Middle East with that conflict. I mean, Russia have more pull with dealing with Israel and the Palestinians, where he can have them come at the peace table, maybe somewhere like in Qatar, Bahrain, bring them to the peace table, and they can stop fighting and give some of that land back to the Palestinians. And they can start working on the two-state solution. But the Israelis not going to do it because the U.S., the Biden administration is protecting the Israelis, giving them cover, giving them a shield. But I think just like, man, something's totally different about this Intifada rise up. You know, it's something. It's just they got more support. The Palestinians have more support than 2014, right? They have more support. So,
there's it's not just that, my friend, but there are cracks in the Iron Dome. There are cracks in the unilateral support of the state of Israel. There are cracks in even the United States media to keep a Palestinian-friendly voice off the air. Like, this is significant, and the potential for
Zionists really are scrambling right now more than normal.
More than I've ever seen.
There's so much of them out there like
and as far as the two-state solution goes, I don't know if that's possible. I really don't. I mean, there's significant and what I would consider to be scholarly work out there about the fallacy of the two-state solution, and that it hasn't been something that would even be workable since like 1964. I
mean, if you think about it, the Oslo Accords were working towards a two-state solution, and how did that go? Like, they completely pacified the Fatah party and like disarmed them completely, and were tried to lead to a two-state solution via the creation of a Palestinian Authority, only for that to just not end up well. Like,
right. But if there's any sort of communication, especially out of like the Security Council, if complete and total disarmament isn't immediately unconditional, you won't be able to work it. And I don't know what that's going to look like, because nobody wants to give anyone in the Mideast or in Africa any goddamn agency. The U.S. has ramped up its presence in Africa to the point to where AFRICOM is now like headquartered in freaking Berlin, or well, in Germany, but twice the size as CENTCOM now, which is Central America. But I mean, huge. we are in countries we have no reason to be in. People like I would all for destabilization and acquisition of natural resources. 4 African leaders have dropped dead in the last 18 months under suspicious circumstances. A couple of them were absolute pieces of shit. A couple of them were really trying to fucking do something for their people. And again, letting people in Africa and the Middle East have agency is apparently something the West is incapable of doing. And China, I mean, what they're doing is different, but no less the total absorption of Africa
Well, I
and
mean-
the Mideast.
Yeah, the way I describe it, it's like good cop, bad cop. US is the bad cop, China is the good cop, but at the end of the day, they're both fucking cops.
Well, I in a way, I kind of disagree. Well, I disagree with y'all dealing with China. I mean, of course, they will try to have agreements with different African nations where they will benefit the most out of the deal. But you know, when you have businesses, when you have business transaction, usually one company will try to take advantage of another company. That just is sad, but that's how it usually go, you know. And it's like that not just in Wall Street, but it's like that throughout the world. So with the ports that China was building in Africa when the guy was living, I forgot his name, not Kagame. That's you around the guy. The guy in Tanzania that died. He
Mufuli.
not that. Yeah, Mufuli.
In Tanzania? John Magufuli?
Was it? No.
Magufuli.
Yeah,
That's
John
right.
Magufuli. Yeah, when he passed, he was working with China, but he was upset that China was trying to get them with a 99-year lease on a port. He said, "Nah, that's stupid. You have to go with a 33-year lease on a port at $10 billion, right? Because it was going to be $10 billion for 99 years instead of." He said, "No, that was lock us in. You know, that's almost a century. So let's go 33 years on the contract." And that's why he was like, by him working, using his mind and working with China like that, he was showing other Africans, just, you know, don't be so desperate. Just you can work with China, and you can bring these deal downs with these high leases where it's comfortable with you. You know, this is about business. You know what I'm saying? So if you in business, I'm sorry to say this, but if you're stupid enough to take anything, then that's what they're gonna give you. No matter if it's China, Russia, England, United States, Canada, no matter who it is, right? So you gotta use your head. And Magufuli, he was using his head, and so much that he was working with the Portuguese and the Turks construction firms, and they started building stuff in mega projects in their country, Tanzania, right? Mega projects, airports, the electric trains. What else? A dam they're building that's going to produce a lot of megawatt power. So, I mean, yeah, that was good, you know. But the one that's really is going to turn Africa, I mean, that's going to really happen us, his country is the Ghanaian president. Is the Ghanaian president, you know. $60 billion deal. I mean, $60 billion investment going into Ghana in the next 10, 20 years. He's going to get he's trying to get a nuclear power plant built by a Russian company. They're going to have petroleum facilities that's going to be built that's going to produce close to 700,000 jobs for the Ghanaians. And they're working out deals with the tribes people that live in that region for their land, for development. And that's going to go into like education, medical. They're going to have a tax base where they're going to put money into, what you call that, the infrastructure, the schooling for public schools, your healthcare with all what they need, you know, and you'll see Ghana just rise up. I don't know if y'all saw this about last month. Ghana stopped. I won't say stop, but there was an exporting so much cocoa to Sweden, the Swiss, that they wasn't seeing too much in return. So they done something. I don't know if they stopped exporting cocoa to Sweden, but they kept. I think they kept keeping the majority in Ghana, where they're gonna make Ghanaian sweets, candy bars, right? And which is a good thing, you know. So from anytime you have economic improvement, what happens is on the infrastructure, you create jobs, you create opportunities for people that can lift people out from poverty, and they can become educated, and they can invest more into the country by becoming mechanics, machinists, electricians, plumbers, HVAC techs, helicopter mechanics, so forth, engineers and nurses, right? And you will see Africa change like that over time. You know, now.
Hey man, we have another call coming in. Thank you so much
Yes, sir.
for calling into the show.
Anytime.
Please do it. Please do it again.
Oh, I will. I will. Thank you, man. God bless y'all, man.
Hey, you too.
Thank you. God bless you.
You are live.
Hello.
Franco Lasso.
What's going on? It's good to hear you guys.
It's good to hear you, my friend. How are you?
Likewise.
Confused. I don't know if I should be scared or mad. It's so weird. It's just a video of my cat getting pet, and we're talking about the Colonial Pipeline still and how the oil tycoons might be plotting. Like they were plotting to keep the story a secret until now, so that they can increase oil prices and take advantage of this because of what happened during the pandemic, in which oil prices were low. So now they need to make up for it. That's what we were discussing in the video. It's just a video of a cat being pet talking about this. And then they put a warning in front of it and say that this is sensitive material. What's so sensitive about just talking and petting a cat?
Were you doing it in like a creepy Dr. Evil way? Or like a Bond villain style?
Just, you guys should look at the video. We're just in the living room. That's it. It's just, and it's like there's no like evil. There's like no evil mood to it. I don't understand. I put the link to the video in the MCSC group chat and also in the Yellbro Discord. You guys want to see it?
Okay, let me.
Oh, do you have it, Jones?
Okay, I'll share it right now here. Okay, why am I lagging? Okay, there we go. Share audio.
Let me know if the warning pops up for you.
All right, I'm about to play the video real quick here, Franco.
As soon as
Sorry,
the oil tycoons plan to basically make prices go back up. They're just trying to make prices inflate because,
oh god damn it!
like during the whole pandemic, nobody was going anywhere, and that's why oil prices were low, right? Because there wasn't a demand. But as soon as the pandemic is starting to officially end, they obviously want to make gas prices go up because people are going to be going out to places. They want to hike up those prices. So what they do is they create like a stupid story like, oh, Russia hacked the pipeline. And then what happens? People think, oh, there's a shortage now that there's like a leak and the pipeline's been hacked. And then they go out there and stupid people like fill up like their containers of like, their gasoline containers. And then that creates a, quote unquote shortage. And that allows for gas prices to be inflated.
And then what
And that's how
happens
they
when I
get more
try
money.
to retweet it? Oh,
This is
no
basically
problem
the oil.
retweeting.
Hectic.
Weird.
So what do you think about? Because I've got a couple of, I got a handful of thoughts on that. Is that an avenue that you're trying to explore there? That this is to compensate for shortfalls last year?
I didn't think about that until like my fiance brought that up here, that video. So that's why I was like, oh, that's an interesting theory, and that's why I put the video up.
I mean, it must have struck a nerve with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right?
It took like
Oh
2 hours
shit, you
to-
can't talk about that.
Go, Miss Franco.
Right? Right? If you want to know who's in charge, find out who you can't criticize. But
oil tycoon is bigger than in
Hmm?
pipeline. Cool.
You what?
I think the words oil tycoon and the hashtag Colonial Pipeline is what triggered it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Tycoon is very old century. It is, dude. Like, is tycoon like even a? Do we throw that word around a lot? I don't know.
There's some games with Tycoon, like Roller Coaster Tycoon, shit like that. But
Okay. Okay. No, I suppose. I suppose.
But in terms of like the banking and industry and like financial words, I don't hear it a lot anymore. Tycoon.
Because it sounds silly, like with tech tycoon, right? And that's usually
It sounds like,
the
'cause
only.
it sounds like raccoon. It sounds
Right.
like a raccoon, like your little fucking scurrying night crawler.
Right, little billionaire trash panda. Trash panda billionaires. There's your hashtag.
Andrew needs to start a
No.
punk band.
That's a disgrace to trash pandas.
Fuck that. That is a great band name. Trash
By
panda
the way,
billionaire.
here, it's Sleepy J and Teodoro.
What?
One more.
Who else is still here?
Yeah.
Sleepy J and Teodoro.
Oh, it's me, Steve, and then Sleepy J.
Hey, Sleepy J's the go, man. Thank you very much for helping me out with streams and stuff.
Oh, I've got to give you a new stream key, by the way. So watch your Discord.
Awesome.
Aw.
Yeah, Sleepy J, man, you're the man.
Base God, Tech Ninja.
Thank you, guys.
It's true, though. It's true. And if you go to.
We were gassing you up to Commander X because he was all like, "Oh man, you guys been streaming for so long. You must know all the tech glitches, Steve." And I was like, "Please, we have a tech ninja, and his name is Sleepy J."
Yeah, I'm so pissed I was sleeping during that.
It's all good. You'll get to talk to him for another 6 hours another day.
Yeah,
Right? Right?
That's true.
And
He was in great spirits today. That was
He was
seriously
in
like
such good
awesome to
spirits.
see.
he we talked for maybe like 4 minutes total between like V Jones and Lubers. I swear to God, X went 14 straight minutes without like so much as a pause, just circular breathing through the entire thing, and just not, oh
Pausing
my,
that
it was
shit.
fucking performance art, man. That's impressive, dude. He's not in the best health. So it's a testament to like his energy and drive and spirits right now that he's actually like, oh.
And
You
like even as he was going on, he was like, enthusiastic and getting into his own stories, and it's like
he cut himself
Yes!
off.
I know.
That's funny.
It was awesome. It was seriously awesome. And I'm looking forward to doing the thing tomorrow with him.
The thing tomorrow?
Oh,
X-
he has because Commander X has a show tomorrow,
Oh, hell yeah.
12 p.m. Central Time, and because it's Commander X, it's gonna run for 4 hours. So 12 to 4 p.m. Central Time. So
It's 10 our
1
time.
to 5. So
Yeah.
1 to 5 East Coast and 10 to 2 West Coast. Us two, Mark Lubers and Commander X for 4 hours.
Well, and whoever else, I guess.
Yeah,
would
and whoever
go-
else gets
you-
invited.
I don't know.
We got
It's
we got
a.
another call coming in, y'all.
Oh, all right.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for calling in, Franco.
What's up, Franco?
All right, thank you guys.
You are live.
Please.
You need to mute
We
though.
have a tech
Hello?
ninja, and his name is Sleepy J. I'm calling myself.
Oh, you gotta mute your.
The stream.
You gotta mute the show.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Is this Glory?
Yeah.
Who we got?
Oh, okay. I'm Nathan in Alabama.
Hi, Nathan.
Hey. Nice to be on the air with y'all. I've been listening to you for the past year. Like what you're doing.
Right on. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of propaganda going around. I'm kind of getting a little bit insane. I think I've never seen it like this before. You know, it's kind of like it's hard to know. It's hard to know exactly. The question I was thinking of asking you all was, how do you deal with like the information overload? Like, I struggle with like knowing, with all of just, there's so much constant just insanity of like, what do you try to punch through that might actually get people to think, you know? That's what I'm constantly every day thinking about, you know? That's my constant conundrum. So yeah.
I really like the way that our good friend Misty Winston puts it. And she says, like, I just want people to ask themselves, how many times does my government have to lie to me before my sense of skepticism kicks in?
Yeah.
And you can go through almost like minute by minute in the week of pick your administration for an onslaught of unipartisan government lies, malfeasance, slaughter,
Yeah.
theft,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and really, I mean, if you're ultimately trying to set somebody or help somebody a little bit further along their path, like, it mostly has to be their idea. But
yeah,
and honestly, man, like, the best we can do is, you know, like, plant the seed and then water it when we can. But
right.
you can't force anybody to this because they just recoil, back away. Like, you know, I mean, granted, there's probably like a handful of people that, you know, that need to be beat over the head with shit before they'll look at it. But
Yeah.
you know, by and large, it's just a constant you know, like, you find ways to just work it in an everyday thing. Dude, I went
The
to go
best
get
way to
hope
do
some of
it is
it'll
make it an
penetrate
everyday
somehow.
thing.
Like, it's really a lot of, it's very faith-based for me at this point. I have no idea if anybody's, you know, I'm putting stuff out on social media. I have no idea, like that other guy was saying before. It might be falling on deaf ears, but anyway, you just don't know. So
I mean, that's activism. That's a lot of activism,
Yeah.
is trying to just plant the seeds of these ideas into people and hoping that they take that and then tell their friends, or that they take that and come back to you and you can plan something together. Or, like, you never know where that seed will go. You just kind of have to
this is
plant it and
something
have a
like,
little bit of hope.
This is something that a lot of people don't get about, like, I guess what we talk about, because you can see, you know, you can measure your results in activism in terms of like growth of protest or result in like legislation coverage, things like that. But what you don't always get to do that because it's not the right time. You know, there have been people that have been trying to get motherfuckers in the street for Medicare for all for 70 years, 60 years. Yeah, and it's really kind of taken that. So going into it, even especially going into the show, knowing that there's a giant lane for truth because there's no money in it.
Right.
Like you go in knowing ahead of time that you don't necessarily get to see the results of what it is that you're doing, because if you want to bring it back to like planting a tree kind of thing, you don't always get to see the results of that. Sometimes that's shade for your grandkids and not for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to go to a completely different field to plant some more trees, you know? Sometimes the tree might grow and then it'll get blown over in a hurricane. You never know. But you got to plant it.
Exactly.
Or we're going to go with...
I just had the thought, too, that it's like almost like the more people that speak out, I think, the safer it feels.
Yes.
It's like a lot of the reason people don't speak out is psychological. It doesn't feel safe because, oh my God, what's going to be the repercussions? Who's going to laugh at me? Who's, whatever the hell the hang up is. It's like everybody has, and maybe people aren't even aware of it, but when it feels safer, then suddenly more people are going to realize, I don't like my abusive government, or, they're
right. It's not normal.
They're making me neurotic with all this propaganda. They're blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't a media landscape that feeds you, and this is something we should probably really do a better job of too, but like 99% negative news, without ever showing like anything good in the world. Like that on its face,
it's just truth, right?
Can be.
We do a decent job of showing like protests and stuff.
Yeah, no, we keep it as light as we possibly can given the context, and we really are like adorably wholesome when you get right down to it. We really are.
No, I like that about y'all, that you keep a lot of levity to what you do, in spite of like that everything is so dark and terrifying. But that you just, that's something I definitely appreciate, because it makes it feel a lot more, because you have to laugh about it in order to stay sane. So.
I mean, I was going to say, I figure like it as a coping mechanism, at least it's something that we can share, that like, if you're here, you probably enjoy, oh God, gallows humor as a baseline.
Yeah.
It's a challenge too to continue to find a way to satirize reality when reality is almost getting closer and closer to satire. It keeps you on your toes, I think.
Yeah. This isn't this isn't the fucking, I don't know, dude. It's the dumbest of all possible timelines. It sucks. I'm over it. We need a new Marmot.
Gosh.
We need a better Marmot.
Exactly.
Not getting into this topic.
I totally.
Hey, we
want
diverge
to
on this
get-
one, Glory Jones. I love the marmot. Hey, we've got someone that's been trying to call for like a million years.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, Nathan, really
Thank you.
appreciate you calling in, and please
Yeah.
do so again. We'll be doing this every Friday.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll definitely will. It was nice to chat with you.
Right
You
on. man.
too.
Yeah, bye.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye bye.
You're live.
New caller.
Live.
Hello.
That's right. Hey, you guys, am I caller 15? Did I win the Trash Panda?
You are the proud owner of not one but a family of trash pandas. Go check your backyard right now.
That's
I'm kidding, man. You just got
we were
called.
hoping. I'm sitting here with Lucky Burrito, and I'm Steve Cutler live, and we're like in and out of you guys' rooms and stuff.
I love your edits. They're all like colorful and eccentric, and like that's like my
That's
kind of
Glory's
design
lane.
taste.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Steve, how are you,
I
man?
really like
it's
your
it's
skin
good
right
to
now. You kind of look like a comic book or something. That's killer.
Yeah,
comic book
no, I
flavor
love
to the,
it. Like you
channel
take
right
the cutouts and everything, like it's dope. Support independent
If you
media.
guys want pictures made, then you guys should just send them to him, and he'll make them.
Yeah, if you have specific ideas or pictures that you're like, oh, he would do a good job at this, just send it to me and I'll make it, because I love to make memes and be subversive as
Awesome.
much as possible.
get in our Discord server, man.
Oh yeah, I'm on the Roar one. Can you send me an invite or something? That'd be
Sure,
dope.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's just discord.slownewsdayshow.com. It should go to the active invite.
Yes.
There's that.
Yes, sleepy.
Thank you,
Well,
Sleepy Josh.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sleepy Dude.
So what's going on, man? It's you and Lucky Burrito? That's fucking dope.
Yeah, man. We're sitting here. We're a couple, and digging you guys' call-in show. I'm old as shit, so I like flash back to being a little kid calling into the radio. Did I win? Am I the right caller?
Aww.
It's a free car wash, 12-year-old. That's what you get. Right?
Fantastic.
Fucking
So
Registered it.
so Lucky Burrito sent a care package like full of swag and stuff to Convo Couch, and y'all guys are supposed to get like dibs on some of that shit too. So I don't know if you have or not.
Oh.
Oh, you should definitely
Better handle that, Glory Jones.
Convo.
Oh, you're not in LA. God damn it.
Yeah.
I can't physically go to their house and harass them. I can't.
That must be
That would
Are
be sweet. If you-
you fucks holding out on us?
right now. Oh, so busted now. Pops has been
Lucky
hoarding everything.
Burrito
Swag,
snipped you
bro.
out.
Man,
That's
I need to cop some of that merch. Shit. I'm looking to rep Alma Fam. MCSC Convo when we finally get a merch line.
Yeah, I
After
know.
Versace,
I know.
Roar.
I know. This, yeah.
I'm gonna rep all my dogs out here.
As happy
That's
as
so
it
funny.
makes me to know that, like, everybody, I'm not even gonna.
What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
Nah, dude.
No,
nah.
no,
no,
no.
no.
No. Why? Why?
Some of it was like
Because I said
Yeah,
so.
Head ass part, perhaps?
That's a shitty reason.
That's why.
Please defend.
What's why?
Please defend. But yeah, so shameless self promotion. Tomorrow I'm gonna do a live stream. I play music and stuff too, and I'm doing a live stream on my Steve Cutler Live channel at 4:20 p.m. If you guys are around Eastern time for you West Coast guys.
It's
But yeah,
4:20
I just wanted to
p.m.
call
on
in
the
and
East
shout out
Coast.
and say what up. You know, and so forth.
You broke up there a little bit at the end, my friend.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying, like, I just wanted to say hey and give you guys a shout out, and you know,
Well, yeah.
call out the combo couch for not sharing the swag, and you know, the basic stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we got another call coming in.
But thank you for taking my call, and I really dig what you guys do. You know, the truth that you guys speak for real on a real tip. You guys are legit as fuck, and again, thank you. And
Well, thank you.
Thank
everybody
you so
try to
much,
support
Steve,
BDS.
for everything.
Huh? I didn't catch that.
I just said thank you so much, Steve, for everything.
Oh yeah, word.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Peace out, you guys. Have an awesome
All
Friday.
right.
Hey, have a good
Peace.
night, you two. Thanks for calling in.
You are live.
Wait, I'm in. Hello.
Oh my God.
Hello?
Can I say just real,
Hey, I think you let
real
us.
quick?
I think you gotta.
Can I say
I think you let a
trust the
spam
plan?
caller through, Sleepy J.
Can I say trust the plan? Is that okay? And
Think mirror.
and 52 D chess. Like Trump's gonna take over everything. Can I say that? Is that okay?
Hey, random
I mean, you
caller.
can absolutely
Random
say
caller.
it.
What are your thoughts on
Caller.
Amy Klobuchar?
I love Amy Klobuchar. She's gonna be the next president. She's the best of the best. Can I say that? Is that okay?
I mean, you can say whatever you would like, caller. That's
Random caller.
kind of the point of the show. What's
Oh my
your
God.
name, sir?
Hey, wait. Am I here? Am I on Slow News Day? Am I
you
here?
in fact
Did I make
are.
it? Oh,
Yes.
I just want to say shout out to Amy Klobuchar, my number one ever. She's the best ever, Amy Klobuchar. And number two, trust the plan. Like Donald Trump is gonna win office again, and he's gonna take over the government, and he's gonna spread the plan everywhere. There's gonna be a plan all over the place.
Can I just
There's a
say
plan
that
everywhere.
it shows an incredible amount of compartmentalization to be both pro Klobuchar and so thoroughly supportive of the plan. It seems like they're counter. They run like good, opposite each other. I'm curious, where's the overlap between the
I'm sorry, what's your name
Klobuchar
again?
love
Like Steve or
and
something?
the-
Like
how does Amy?
it doesn't matter.
Is Amy Klobuchar the White Rabbit?
I'm sorry. What's your name again? It doesn't matter. Like, what is it, Steve or something like that? I don't care. Anyways, moving on from that, Amy and Trump are going to take over the government, and they're going to,
One stapler
they're
at a
gonna
time?
trust the plan. They're going to drain the swamp, and if you give them enough time, they'll free Assange at some point. After a little bit of time, they'll free Assange, and trust the plan.
Back
That's
about
it.
that a little, but Carrie, continue, please.
Yeah, I have a question for the random caller too.
Okay, whoever you are. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell me. Ask me
Yeah,
a question.
random
Go ahead.
caller. I'm just curious of your thoughts on this kind of up and coming YouTube channel, the Yellow Brick Road. How do you feel about it?
They sound like losers over there. I don't like them. They're gross.
Yeah,
so
they
what I
never
do is
shut
I
up.
go to Slow News Day, and I'm hoping, in my heart of hearts, I'm hoping that they trust the plan. And Steve, Glory, you both of you know this already. What we got to do is trust Amy and trust Trump that they're going to drain the swamp. It's going to happen. 2025, they're going to drain the swamp. Fuck the yellow brick road. Go ahead, continue.
So by extension, does that mean fuck Jay-Z as well?
You see, Jay-Z is the best musician on the planet, and we can... anyways, trust the plan. Trump 2028.
Trump 2028. Trump 2032, baby. But you know what, man? Like we actually had a joke a while back that conceivably there could be a Trump in office all the way through like 2050 something, just consecutively. And
that makes sense.
And
that's
as
beautiful.
a political
Keep going,
dynasty, you know, we would probably find ourselves in 2036 going, yeah, I know it's not my first choice either, but at least Ivanka didn't feed people to the remaining lions like President Eric did.
Mm.
You see, Ivanka she might as well be like a Rhodes Scholar. You know what that is? You don't know what that is. You're too like
I do, as a
low
matter
IQ
of
for
fact,
that.
a
You're too low
Rhodes
IQ for
Scholar.
that. Stop it. Don't insult yourself. You're too lower IQ for that. Anyways, Ivanka, her IQ is so high that she's playing 82D chess, and sooner or later, we're going to drain the swamp. Do you understand
I
that?
heard
You don't
that
understand
Ivanka
that.
Trump
I'm telling
has
you.
an IQ point
Good,
for
good,
each
good.
individual bean in a can of Goya. Trump's preferred bean.
No,
There's a lot of beans in that can. I'm handing her a compliment here. You might want to take this one, caller.
I heard that Ivanka Trump hates Jay-Z though.
I did hear that. I heard that Ivanka Trump has some negative thoughts about a commercial success yet lyrical disappointment.
See, while you guys were thinking Goya and Jay-Z, I was thinking My Pillow, and that's where we won. That's where the real plan was at, in My Pillow. You lay your head on that mattress, and you just feel it.
The plan was definitely created, you know, with the help of someone's pillow.
I mean,
deep sleep, blissful benzodiazepine induced Steve Bannon fan fiction, and Langley Psyop's desk script writers.
You see how you're saying words as opposed to actual experience? So like when I lay my head on that pillow, my neck falls in like perfect alignment with those pillows. So like, what are you talking about? Trust the plan.
You know what? Random caller. I'm just trying to get a feel for your character assessment here. Like, what's your purpose here? Do you mean well?
Listen, if you know the pillows, then you know the plan, which means you mean well, guaranteed.
Know the plan. That is an excellent hashtag. You should run. Know the pillow. No pillow, no plan. No plan, no pillow.
Without the pillows, I don't know what we do.
Pillow.
But we have the pillows. We have the pillows. So there is a plan, and you have to trust it. That's it.
Yeah, but I'm just curious about the psychology of the pillows here. Like, we need to have character assessments for these pillows.
Or is the pillow in fact actually a pillow, or is this a metaphor for something much more significant?
The pillow represents the plan, and if you fall in line with the plan, you fall in line with the pillow. It's perfect.
It seems rather surface level, caller.
What's wrong with you guys? Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, YouTube. Can you ban these people? Like, they don't understand like the plan. Fall in line with the pillow. You fall in line with the plan. So get them out of here. YouTube. What's her name? Sarah Wojcicki, whatever your name is. Get them out of here. I don't want to see them anymore. You know what? Fuck you guys. I'm out.
The terms of service guy on us.
We got a call coming in.
All right.
All right. Well, see you, Jordan.
Yo, bro.
Hello.
Hello. Who we got?
This is your friendly neighborhood shadow band refugee, and I am tired of hearing this cucked ass bullshit about this motherfucking pipeline. So
you don't say.
As
hey,
someone,
it's fantastic to hear you. And before we get into what's got your britches ablazing this evening, I hope you had a fantastic week, my friend.
oh yeah, thanks, man. Actually, today, because I finished up all that fucking baseboard and molding and all that shit last weekend, today I spent the whole fucking day caulking. So I spent another hour trying to get all the caulk off my hands. So I'm a caulking motherfucker, which is not too far off from being an electric cuck, because when you're an electric cuck, you usually got caulk in your hands anyway, or in your mouth or whatever. But you know, that's being an electrician. So
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and it is kind of funny how like fucking electricians, we fucking worship ourselves, right? We consider every other trade non-skilled. And then as soon as we pick up a caulking gun, we're like, I don't know how to fucking use this shit. What the fuck? You know, it's kind of fucking stupid. Or like a paintbrush. None of us know how to fucking use one of those. None of us know how to fucking use a goddamn saw worth of fuck. We don't know what like the fucking takeoff line is, or that you gotta like still see your pencil mark after you use a fucking saw. We're total fucking Riris. Anyway.
My boss snap a chalk line and then be like, okay, now which side, or which side of that line are you cutting it on? Because it's going to matter if it's a 30-second off every foot. How many feet is in this run? Yep. How far off is that going to be by the time if you cut it on one side or the other of the line every time?
Yeah, dude, for sure, man. And like, it's kind of fucking funny because like electricians, we deal with 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch of play, right? And so like I start using a fucking saw and I start fucking with shit that's like within 32nd of an inch, and I'm like, I feel like a first day apprentice. Like, I don't know how to use this thing. It's pretty sad and makes me really emasculated, but it's
a learning curve like anything else, man. It is.
Yeah, well, and then it's funny too because they sell these dinky ass fucking tools like a caulk smoothing tool, right? But that doesn't replace the fucking skill that's necessary to like actually use or put forth work. Like, so I ended up just finally cutting out the bullshit tool, and now I'm running with my finger like everyone else.
Yeah.
So it's a fun game. Anyway, this fucking pipeline shit. I have never fucking heard so much cucktastic fucking big brain fucking bullshit coming from the fucking media landscape, okay? I have worked both oil and gas production, meaning I've worked pulling it out of the fucking ground. I've worked building refineries. I've worked pipeline technician. And on the other side of that, I've worked on distribution. So I've worked in gas stations. So I know everything there is from the fucking second that they pull the crude out of the fucking ground to the point that it fucking goes into your car. All right? This idea that some fucking hacking place turned off a fucking pipeline and it created gas shortages everywhere is fucking bullshit. Remember I was fucking, when you guys had Robbie on the other day and I'm fucking sending that chat about how the supply chains are built for a 5-week fucking, 5 weeks. Coincidentally, because gasoline has a shelf life of about 5 weeks. Okay? So don't fucking keep no gasoline in your fucking garage and shit and try and fucking use that shit fucking 2 weeks from now, because no, man. By the time that it gets to your fucking car, it's got a day or two left of fucking shelf life. That's the way it's fucking, that's the way the supply chains fucking work. Okay. So from the refinery into the pipeline, there is either one or two pipelines. There's usually two pipelines. When they say pipelines, it's not big. They don't mean a singular pipe. They mean 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, multiple fucking pipelines going in the one hole. It's a big operation, right? And so once it gets to the distribution yards, you have what's called a redundancy tank system. Okay, so they have multiple tanks, millions of gallons in these massive tanks. You've probably seen them here and there when you're fucking driving by, like wherever. I don't know what you guys have on the East Coast, but over here we mostly have Western refining tanks, right? And those are multi-million-dollar tanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about the East Coast refineries,
Hey,
honestly.
my stupid dog laid on
But
my
I mean-
keyboard and hung up on dude. I'll call him back. It's all freaking out.
Oh,
Hey, sorry about that. My computer freaked out because my dog laid on my keyboard.
No, you're good, man. You're good. You're good. So, yeah. So the tanks are set up in a redundancy. So you have multiple million-plus gallon tanks that are in a redundancy system to where they fill up sometimes it's twice a week, but usually it's once a week. Okay. So they fill up off of the pipeline on these multi-million gallon tanks, one by one, so that they have the redundancy system set up in 3 week, in a 3 week formation, right? So like by the time that if they were to fill up a tank now, right, they would have 2 tanks filled up and ready for distribution by the time that one tank empties. Okay, so the supply chain is built specifically for in the event of an outage, it's not a complete shock overnight like we've had. Okay, that's the way that they're built, so that they don't lose any fucking money at all. The idea that this all happened as a result of a hacking incident is fucking horseshit. Either it's a complete and total fucking manufactured scarcity lie so that they could jack prices to make up for fucking shortfalls last year, right? Because you have to show fucking growth.
That was Franco's fiance's theory.
yeah, that's what Miss Franco was saying.
Yeah. Or, and this is my theory, that fucking leak was 10 times worse than what we saw. And they saw it in the fucking in the fuel levels in their distribution tanks, that they had lost a fucking shit ton of product. Now, here's the other fucking screwy part. If they shut down a line for a leak, then it triggers multiple things. First off, they have to submit all records to both the state and federal EPA, and they have to keep it closed until they can prove that line can be charged without losing product. Then on top of that, they have to show the federal government and the EPA where exactly the leak occurred, excavate the area, sometimes 500 feet down, sometimes 1,000 feet down. They have to go down as far as that gas went, or that oil, or that whatever the fucking product is that they're pumping through, so that they can show exactly how deep and how far the contamination went. And then they're also liable for the cleanup. This is why you see gas stations shuttered they don't shut down gas stations for shits and giggles. They shut down gas stations because they know their fucking tank was leaking. And if they were to fucking replace the tank that they knew was leaking, when they do the inspection, when they pull the tank out of the ground, the EPA has to be there to look at the bottom of the tank. And if they see a crack, then they're held liable for the cleanup, which is why you see gas stations get shuttered and they fill the old tank up with concrete so it can never be used again. I'm banking on that pipeline leak being so fucking severe that they had to shut the line to repair it. When I was actually, I was working on the Keystone XL pipeline, and I was learning all about, I was learning about how they monitor the pressure, right? Because it's called instrumentation, right? They monitor the pressure, and then through a series of resistors, they fucking transmit back to the fucking home office what the pressure lines are and how much product is being pumped through, if someone's fucking siphoning the line or whatever the fuck else, right? So between your pressure points, you take readings before you charge the line. Charging the line meaning with fucking with product, with hydraulic product rather than with static, right? Air. They call it static test. And they were telling me how the whole thing works. And I'm a dumb shit apprentice. I had never fucked with this shit before. And I was talking to the journeyman about it. I'm like, well, if that's the way it works, then this line has failed. He says, yes, of course the line has failed. And I was like, well, if the line has failed, then they have to repair it, right? He said, no. It costs more to repair the line than to let it leak.
And pay the fine
then
eventually, maybe.
Say what?
And have to pay a fine eventually, maybe.
Eventually, never, because they'll shutter their doors and reincorporate under another name before that they ever have to fucking pay off the fine, right? And then on top of that, pipelines use private land easements, right? They use federal lands, but they use private land easements most often to put their reading stations where they monitor the pressure on private land, so that any inspector first has to ask the private landowner if they can come and read the fucking pressure. And no private landowner is going to do that because they get paid unreal amounts of money for that fucking easement. So you bet your fucking ass that pipeline leak was 10 times fucking worse than could have been imagined. And also, if they touch the line to repair it, then they have to repair the entire line.
Okay, and so we found out that one of the Dark Side crew members got access to the wallet and ran off with it. Ran off with the whole damn near 5 million Bitcoin, and nobody's saying, nobody else in Dark Side, if that's, I still haven't heard back from anyone who can really tell me much about it. But as much as there are people who want to believe that it was like a Robin Hood style hack or a, like altruistic or politically motivated type hack, I don't believe it was. I don't believe that the lone pirate ran off with all the loot was anything other than someone working on behalf of either Colonial themselves or in the best interests of Colonial in general, because it serves a larger Fourth Industrial Revolution purpose. I do but I agree with your assessments in terms of the size of the leak and what they're trying to cover up. It may be that the sole purpose for all of this was to distract from that and allow them to misreport the numbers even more than they already have been. as well as make sure that whatever they get from their cybersecurity insurance is worth more than whatever fine they'll have to pay for the spill, especially since they're reporting that, oh, we've been able to recover almost 1.1 of the 1.28 million gallons we've reported. Bullshit.
Yeah. Like, well, the way that all works too is that they fucking they risk cost averages out, right? So if you make fucking, because those pipelines pump usually, depending on their PSI, $243 million a minute. So a fine of $10 million, fucking chump change, right? But really, yeah, of course, it's going to be used. Don't ever let a good crisis go to waste. Of course, it's going to be fucking used to regulate fucking crypto markets and fucking wallets and all that shit, right? Of course, they're going to fucking do that. But the real fucking scandal is if the shortage actually happened, that means that line was shut for 5 weeks. And if that line was shut for 5 weeks, that means they were doing a repair wherever, because it's kind of like if you jump on a dog's tail, it barks out the other end, right? So if you see a leak at point A, you have a more significant leak at point B or point C or point D. Especially with how old that fucker is. That's cast iron line. That's before they started PVC coating interior and out and exterior. That's before a whole lot of different shit. And then in conjunction with the fracking that's going on over there, that pipeline was never constructed for seismic activity. So that if it's an actual shortage, it's a leak, or it's just manufactured shortage. But manufactured shortage seems a little bit too easy for me. I think it's an actual shortage that they used the cover of this cyber terrorism fucking thing that they've, because I mean, like, the consent has already been manufactured for the fucking past fucking 4 years with the cyber terrorism, because, you know, Jesus fucking will, if you reach out to Jesus, he'll help you beat it with the fucking masturbation or whatever the fuck, right? But that already provided them cover. And my guess is wherever point B was, the leak that they actually fucking repaired, was in a more significant area, probably next to a fucking waterway, probably next to an aquifer, probably next to a fucking ocean or some shit, and they don't want that to come out. And they're not going to do a cleanup because a massive scale cleanup is way too easy to fucking spot. Anyone can fucking see that, because it takes, you're talking thousands of square miles that they have to fucking excavate and pull earth and bring in fresh earth. That's a massive operation. That's billions of dollars to clean that shit. Whereas to fix a leak, it's only a couple million. You get your most trusted fucking your most trusted dudes to come in and sign an NDA and pay them a fucking bonus. And like I said before, rig trash is they're not fucking good people. Like, yeah, man, you can bet on it actually being a significant leak that they had to repair. That's my fucking that's my very humble opinion as someone who's worked on both supply and distribution side of oil and gas and did it for fucking 6 years. So.
I mean, there's also a number of rivers that run right through Huntersville. And I remember when because that's where the Renaissance Festival was. And I remember that you drove like over a lake, like as you went through, or at least like some sort of kind of causeway looking thing that had large bodies of water on both sides of it. And I don't know if that was the protected wetland that this thing fucking leaked into. But I do know that like you can't recover the benzene once it's in, like once it's in the ground. Like that's going to become part of future groundwater. It's not like you can pull that out of they'd have to fucking leach and dredge, like, sift through all of that fucking soil. And Robbie said that they've got a bunch of fucking digs all around in that area to reclaim the water. But if assuming it got downstream, that's fucking too late. I don't trust Colonial Pipeline.
You're talking a natural disaster area. In all of my years of oil and gas, never did I ever hear of a single cleanup because it's just too fucking costly. Like, the crisis of fossil fuels isn't just fucking global warming. It's almost like fucking. It's almost like a fucking nuclear reactor melting down. Once it pops, you're fucked, right? And there's like benzene, not necessarily too much. Isn't necessarily too much of a problem, right? Because benzene is a byproduct of sour crude. Mostly sour crude. It sometimes comes out in sweet crude, but not so much because sweet crude is it's hard to explain. There's another thing is that there's a difference between sweet and sour crude. Sweet crude comes from Middle East. Sour crude we pull out of the ground here. Sour crude is way deeper. It hasn't been refined over the fucking millions of years of coming up to the surface like sweet crude has. Whereas in like Saudi Arabia, you have like oil lakes basically. It's like 500 feet below the ground, and it's super pure. And like you mix sweet crude with sour crude to actually refine, like it because sour crude has a bullshit yield that nobody wants to fucking. It costs more than it does. It costs more to refine than it actually does to sell, right? So benzene comes out in the refining process, which is why it's a problem in fracking sites, is because when they hydraulically fracture, they pump the chemical slurry into the ground and fracture the shale underneath the earth. It releases benzene naturally from that, and benzene is also a problem at like refinery sites, but it's not going to be in your pipeline if they were pumping refined gasoline. Now, if the pipeline was crude that spilled, so say the pipeline upstream from the refinery was the one that spilled, that's a worse natural disaster than every fucking gasoline pipeline in the country combined, because crude that spills, especially if it's sour, because your sweet crude is going to come in on tankers, right? Most of the tankers come into southern United States, right? Like Mobile and fucking Houston and the Gulf states, right? That's where most of your sweet crude comes in, on fucking tankers from Saudi Arabia and fucking Iraq and all that shit, right? If it was a sour crude pipeline that went kaboom, you're talking benzene, H2S, fucking the tar substance shit that's gonna fill the natural pockets that are inside the fucking earth and are gonna pollute the waterways for hundreds of years. So, I mean, I don't know that pipeline intimately. I don't know what their supply chain or what their supply lines look like. I don't know where they come from, and I don't know I have to look more into what Colonial's pipe structure looks like. My career was up and down the Rockies, right? Keystone. But dude, yeah, like for them to put this big media psyop out there and create this type of mass panic and hysteria that they know works because of COVID-19, there's something underlying that shit that is so bad that if it was to come out, it would be worse than fucking every lead water crisis in the United States at this point. And it would be far worse than any fracking. And then it would trigger fucking more outrage over the fucking fracking sites that are out there in like Oklahoma where fucking you can't drink the water, right? Like,
right.
This is all like, and this is all kind of shit that they teach you in the fucking pipelines is to keep your fucking mouth shut. That's why everyone's a fucking hardcore drug addict because, I mean, eventually moral injury does get to you.
Yeah.
Like, but
yeah, no, my boss's brother is a pipeline dude, liquid natural gas pipeline dude in Pennsylvania. And fucking, it's like almost like a fucking non-vet that has sworn a code of silence. Like they got the fucking 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah. Well, because see, that was my crisis of morality when I was in the industry, right? And one of the reasons why I became a rabid fucking anarchist and communist, right? It's because, like, once you fucking really, because here's a little backstory is that, like, I was raised in a very fucking, like, I was raised in an evangelical cult, right? My fucking pops fucking raised me on fucking, like, Fox News and Rush Limbaugh. And the Focus on the Family Dobson motherfuckers, right? And so when I went to the pipelines, I was like borderline fucking fascist, fucking like Fox News Republican. But through the force of working in the industry, I became a rabid fucking communist because I know how the world actually works now. That industry is evil. I worked in this fucking town, I'll never forget it, Bowman, North Dakota. I was renting out a basement, and the people that were living in the house above me, the lady there, she worked at the local medical facility. It was like an urgent care, but also a primary care and fucking all that shit. Every single person over the age of 51 had cancer. Like, like when I had long hair back then before I fucking lost it all because I was a fucking tweaking piece of shit. It felt like I could never wash the shampoo or the conditioner out of my hair because it was just fucking bad. And I went to one of the local restaurants once and I saw a waitress bring a fucking pitcher of water out to this dude and his family, and he was pouring his family fucking water out of this pitcher, and the fucking pitcher was yellow. The water was fucking yellow from fuel, and it smelled like fuel. And it came to me, it came to my conscience that I am poisoning these people for a rich man's profit.
Yeah.
Like, that's the end goal of oil and gas, is poison as many fucking people as you possibly can and run out the back door with all the money before they fucking bring charges on you. And even if they do bring charges on you, good luck getting through litigation. Those fuckers have an army of fucking lawyers. Yeah.
No, I mean it's the same when one of the Lockheed guys used to get drunk when the Boulder Creek Brewery was still a thing, before it mysteriously caught fire. And there was the running joke is, for as long as they were cooking the books in that place, you'd think it would have burned down years ago. But like occasionally, like one of the Lockheed guys from up in Bonnie Doon would come through and get like a little bit too drunk and start talking. And that's where, for like the first time, I heard someone admit, like, I'm helping to commit atrocities for the health insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing is because I lived up when I lived up in Colorado, when I left the pipelines industry, when I left the big oil and gas, I was working building pharmaceutical plants, right? Because that's the other good fucking money place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a fucking accident in, I think it was Loveland. I don't remember where the fuck it was. It was a fucking. It was a big pharmaceutical plant. I think I signed paperwork, so I shouldn't say the name. But they had a fucking catastrophe, an electrical catastrophe, that ended up blowing up one of their fucking machines, and it contaminated their water coolant system, and they were pumping that pharmaceutical waste, basically the fucking dope that they were cooking there. It was some type of benzodiazepine, something that they were putting through trials that hadn't even been approved by the FDA yet, something for schizophrenia. And they were dumping that shit into the Poudre River for weeks until we could fix the fucking the machine. Like that, like the Flint crisis doesn't even half fucking touch the surface of what industry does to the fucking water in our country, man. It and this isn't shit that you can just clean up. This shit poisons forever.
To kind of like take a slight hop away from this feel good conversation. When I lived right outside of Fort Collins, on 52G, right, like a mile out of LaPorte, we were right on the river. Like the river was across the street, across the highway, and we were Hicks, so our couch was outside, and part of the sport was to count the emergency vehicles that were flying up to where they could drop in to go grab whatever rafter had got fucking capsized in the Poudre in the fucking rapids just up the road from us and was having a hard go at life at the moment, which was incredibly frequent. I think they had, like, a few years after I moved out of there, like, banned people from rafting and tubing in there.
Yeah.
Poudre's no fucking joke, man.
There was yeah, like, aw.
We gotta wrap up soon, guys.
It's amazing how many people kill themselves in Colorado on that fucking river.
Josh just hit the wrap it up box.
Okay.
We're 2.5 hours in.
Okay.
Oh shit! Sorry, guys. Here I am calling in fucking.
Oh, no worries.
hour-long
That was really
conversation.
informative. Thank you.
No,
Yeah.
I learned a lot about the pipeline shit, so thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
for
we
sure.
are 2.5
I've got all
hours.
kinds of crazy
into the
stories
show.
for you.
We probably get on our wind down.
All right, guys. Well, you guys have a lovely night. I hope you all walk away smarter. Franco said in the chat to hit him up on Twitter DMs. I am not a Twitterverse kind of person. Sorry. This is the extent of my social media and Rockfin. Everyone go to Rockfin. Quit being a cuck. But y'all have a great night. Fuck Jeffrey Epstein. Fuck Ghislaine Maxwell. Fuck Bill Richardson. And Orale Burke, all sick!
All right, we got 3
Yeah,
calls
fantastic.
coming in. Do you want to take one of them?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we can do
You
one
were
more.
live.
Y'all have a great night.
Need to mute.
Hey, I'm muted out.
Hello?
You still there? Hey,
Hello?
hey,
Hello?
how's it going?
Hey, who do we got?
All right, name's Tom. You can call me Tom Guinness. How about that? Because it's Friday night.
All right.
All
right,
good to talk
Tom.
to you guys. I'm glad I caught you before you checked it all out and shut it down tonight, because I wanted to say thanks for keeping it real and part of the Rockfin royalty that you are, and keeping it real with the Assange cause too. You know, it's been a lot of fun being part of this conversation that you've spurred out over the last, I don't know, year and a half. I've been paying attention, so I'll finally get to say hello.
All right, on, man. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for watching and supporting too, man. Like it really does. It means like everything to us, because otherwise it's fucking just screaming at a camera for no good reason.
I mean, honestly, Steve, it's badass what you guys are putting together here. I'm really digging it. I'm kind of privileged, if you will, to be able to get on board with what's happening over, especially on Rockfin, with the exodus of fine minds into the Rockfin universe now. It's a perfectly good place to spend one's whittling hours and enjoy a beer and kick back and make your brain bigger. Have fun, have a laugh, and learn some shit, you know? And that's important right now, more than ever, I'd say. And it's pretty fun being able to do that with y'all, because, you know, despite the heavy jelly moments, you know how to have a laugh in there too, and that's kind of important, you know. It's a Friday night thing now. You got this call-in going on, and I'm digging it. You know, I guess over the whole pandemic madness, you know, the fakery of it all. I've been talking with friends on this Friday night Zoom call, if you will.
Okay.
And, they're all gone batshit. I can't talk to them anymore because they're all giving me an ass kicking because I won't play along with the vaccine conversation that they're having. And so I guess you've started this up just in time. I'll call you randomly now and bug you guys, because you're probably thinking the same way I am. More than the people I used to talk to.
Fuck yeah! Well,
thanks for calling.
I mean, that's kind of what this is for. You know, again, man, like I grew up listening to Coast AM with Art Bell, and like that was just an incredible environment that guy, you know, fostered. And if we could pick up on even just a little bit of that, dude, that'd be fantastic. It would. Right. And it's I know that, man. I know how fucking people have been just thrown out into the wilderness with the COVID fucking psyop, dude. And it's just, I do kind of think that Ryan's right, though. I think that, especially at this point now, to where even people that are just sort of hardwired to ignore this shit are going, hey, wait, that's not right. And there was Christine Olivio, who's running for Congress down in Florida, who we met in January because she came up with number of people from like the MCSC crew.
Yeah, I've seen her when you guys were up in DC. That's at the British Embassy. She was rocking it with you there, right?
Yeah. So she tweeted out earlier, like, somebody, she was just in a prayer group or something like that, and somebody's like 20-some-year-old kid had dropped dead within 48 hours of taking the vaccine, totally healthy. And so she was like, why don't we know anything about this? Why don't we know what the death rates are? And it's like, dude, you're never going to find out. You know, and you're not going to find out because the place that you're trying to get a job voted to give them qualified immunity.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point. I hope if she makes it over the line there, I hope she takes that with her, because that's for real. It's the greatest psyop ever put together, and it's you know, it's people are dropping out there and they're having reactions out there, and they got nowhere to turn when that happens. And I don't understand why the world's gone crazy, like dealing with this the way it is. Well, you know, I mean, people are scared and they're freaking out and they don't think too hard about the world they're in, so they're just buying the bullshit. And that's what I've been trying to talk to friends about it and say, this ain't a good thing, be careful. And they just think, man, I got like 7 heads growing on my ass. I'm like, I'm demented now in their eyes, you know. I'm like, okay, right, well. So it's
Well,
not
and I just-
for me. It's scary because people are thinking that way in the grand scheme of things out there, and I think that's worrisome when we look at the big picture. You know, we're walking into it. But
you're right, Tom. you are, and it's one of those things where people have quite literally made the conscious decision to trade reason for what they feel like might be security.
Absolutely, yeah. They've just given up on the ability to use what gray matter they were awarded at some point in life, and just taken lessons from that fucking chimpanzee fucking Fauci, man. He's a demon. The motherfucker pretty much paid to make this thing happen, but no one seems to care. It's like I don't know, man. It's the kind of thing that makes a man pretty thirsty on a Friday night. That's all I can say.
I'll tell you what, though, Tom, it's encouraging to see that Fauci has been taking a beating, even in the more like mainstream press, and that in and of itself just kind of shows that, like we were talking earlier about, like the cracks in the Iron Dome and in the impenetrable support for the state of Israel have been showing. And now we've got cracks in the COVID narrative that are so blatant that they've become inescapable. This thing with Fauci and gain of function is
iron guns
shit.
protecting it.
Huh?
Yeah.
I said it's got an iron guns protecting it.
But I mean, it's,
the cracks are there. The cracks are there, Glory. I mean, like, you know, to Steve's point, the cracks are there, and it's really encouraging to see that, you know, even that maybe it's a titanium dome, but the motherfucker's cracking, and he's been glamming his way through this shit for the last year and a half now, and people are wearing his T-shirt, and you got Brad Pitt pretending to be his ass on TV, and it's like, you know, and here he is. He's probably the most bloody-handed guy in history with what he's done, you know, and or what he's part of. He's not alone, but you know, the fact that he's catching flack now from, you know, certain political folks who are starting to finally call some real questions on the punk is pretty encouraging. You know, he should have been getting, you know, Josie Wales eyes thrown at him from the get-go, but he's been getting away with this shit. And the PR campaign that the so-called, you know, propaganda machine is pushing out there, the media machine, if you will, I mean, it's working. And that plus fear, it's like a perfect psyop recipe. And, you know, it's discouraging on one hand to see people really just sucking into that, but at the same time, the cracks are appearing in that dome, and, you know, maybe a little light gets through them now. We can start to get some reality back in the picture over the next few months. I really hope so. And we can put the world back in order again the way it needs to go. At least on that part of it, because the world's pretty messed up.
I mean, we say it a lot, but I couldn't be an activist if there wasn't like a little core of hope that was surrounded by a nearly impenetrable wall of cynicism and dark humor, and you know, scars. And so I believe. I mean, you know, I do. I believe that.
I love the dark humor that you spread. By the way, I love it. It's right up my alley. You know, so
I've been told that the Irish appreciate my humor.
You do look kind of Irish.
I've been told that as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing. There's worse things to be called, by the way, you know. But it's that's what I say at the top of the conversation. It's kind of a call in to say hello, because it's really neat to be able to do this with you guys now. And your empire is expanding with the many shows you're pushing out on and starting it all up on that level. But it's really neat to be able to reach out and at least touch base with this piece of the Rockfin royalty. There's a whole bunch of people I'm dialing in with out there in your family, if you will. You know, Combo Couch, Burmis, you know, the Union of the Unwanted. There's a whole bunch of people that have become my, I suppose you could say, honestly, it's like, it's where I go. I don't pay attention to much of the crap that's coming out of the big screen in my room anymore. I go to this one instead. And it feels good. So kudos.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much
I do
for
appreciate
calling.
it. And yeah, and shout out to like everybody that you mentioned too, because those guys are I mean, they're our family, they're our support network, you know, they're the people that like.
We got one more call coming in.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna do that then. Tom, thank you so much, man. Please call back. It's fantastic hearing from you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Champion. Take care, guys.
Thank
See you
you.
soon.
All right, this is the last one.
y'all like-
You're live.
All right.
Hello.
Hello.
I will hit the next one, I guess.
Hello.
All right.
Oh, no, we got Hello.
Oh.
I'm a fan of your show, calling the other independent media like the Convo Couch, Heartlands Media.
Oh, well, cool. Who do we have on the line here? Hello?
They drop or something?
I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna hit the next one.
I don't want to
Okay.
share my identity in case I might get caught.
Oh, okay. No
All
worries.
right.
Thanks
Is
for
there
your
a-
support, though.
You can call me Skybox. That's my secret identity.
All right. That's
All right.
fair. How you doing tonight? And what can we do for you? What you got going on? It's going through like 8 VPNs or something.
Oh, nothing. Just a fan.
Well, awesome. Thanks so much for supporting the show. We appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
This always appreciated.
Come on, Steve. She didn't even make your ears bleed.
He's been smiling now
would
every
I
time
would
I
love
say
to
it.
meet the other independent media like Heartlands Media in the future someday.
I missed that.
I'm not sure what
I just heard Hard Lens Media in the future someday.
Much love to Heartlands. Do what they do. All right, let's wrap this up, guys. I'm hungry.
All right. Well, Sleepy Josh is Sleepy Josh is our bouncer too. So we're
I've been watching your show for months and playing the other independent media.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
thank you,
Yeah,
man.
thank you.
And we do,
Support
yeah,
independent media, and thank you for doing that.
that's how we get to roll. Want to thank you for calling into the show. I want to thank everybody for calling into the show, and got some shout outs over on the Rockfin. Have some tips that came through. Let me scroll back up there. Come on, you bastard. No offense. Thank you very much. Shadow Band Refugee. You should totally, by the way, do the thing with this. Actually, I want to talk to you like later. Hit me up through email or something, because I want to talk about trying to get a thing going with the missing and murdered Indigenous women down there. Kimberly S says a tiny tip. That's fucking funny. Warrior Entertainment forgot to tell
That's
you,
what she said.
Mississippi Supreme Court overturned medical marijuana that passed last year. The law said that the state has to have signatures from 5 congressional districts. Mississippi only has 4. People voted 70% for it. He says, God bless, and tell Allie that Gomer says, hey. Healing Tarzan, thank you very much. TM, nice chat there, gang. Enjoyed the banner with you. I'm assuming that's the good man Tom that just got off the phone with us.
Are those all the super rays?
And those are the super rays.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's always appreciated.
It's always. Love you, Pasta.
And Pasta will be joining us on Sunday along with Fee and possibly Johnny Buttons. They're gonna
Johnny Hollywood,
Johnny Camera, Johnny Audit,
Johnny Microphone,
Johnny Ballot,
Johnny Maricopa.
And that will be fantastic. Tomorrow, Gloria and I will be joining Commander X and Mark Lubers on X's new show. That's going to happen 10 on the West Coast, noon in the Centrals, one on the East Coast for like 4 hours, man. So it'll be, it'll be something that you can either bravely watch all the way through or check in on. I think there's an ABB tomorrow night too. I'm not sure. I have no idea. And then Sunday, holy crap, we have a ton of news to go through with you. I'm gonna have updated information on the colonial thing and where that's going. A thorough deep dive into the Institute for Science and Technology, Security and Technology.
And I'll be on the ground for the Nakba Day vigils and protests, so I'll be putting stuff on Twitter about it regardless. So yeah.
Glory on the ground. We got a bunch of good stuff coming up, so make sure that you're here for that. Please, folks, if you do dig what we do and you're watching on YouTube, stop. We're on Odyssey. We are here on the Rockfin. Right now, it's probably the best way to support the show. Do consider endorsing the channel. It's $10 a month. You get everybody's paywalled content. We don't really paywall the content, but we could definitely use some more subscribers over there full time as we go full time. Big moves coming up, relocating, gonna be building a couple of cabins, and I'm throwing like every last fucking penny I have at that. For real. So that's not frightening. Thanks, guys. Fucking we love the hell out of you. Jones, what do you got?
No, thank you. Good. Again, awesome to talk with y'all, and earlier today, awesome to see Commander X in such good spirits, and
hell yeah,
you'll get to see him go full Muhammad Almazi, Ryan Christian on steroids tomorrow. So when he does, the Commander X specialty of taking 3 hours to answer one question, and it'll be absolutely amazing. So yeah.
Right on. Well, Sleepy Josh, you got anything other than get the fuck off of the stream?
No. This is fun. I'm not trying to crap your style. I'm just hungry. No.
I mean, if you know that we've got a particularly windy caller, you're free to roam about the cabin. You know that.
No, I know.
Well, all right, guys. We will hopefully come check us out tomorrow. X is dead set on streaming it to Twitch. And we'll have a live link and all of that stuff available as soon as we get one. So we'll spread that one around Sunday. Make sure you're here for that. It's gonna be fucking gonna be nice. Hang out with the fam again, catch up on the audit and all that shit. So we'll see you then, guys. And until then, good luck to us all.
Love y'all.